This is the all-new Ford Ranger Raptor. Everyone is losing their minds over it, and I can tell you, it is f***ing awesome. Check this out, it looks amazing. It's like a small Tonka truck or just a small F150. You've got that huge Ford embossed grille. The whole bottom section is bespoke to the Ranger Raptor, and so is the width, 150mm extra across the car. It looks absolutely sensational, including those tyres there, BF Goodrich, specifically designed for this car, 285mm wide and 17 inches as well. That extra width at the front and the back means Ford was afforded with these giant side steps. Have a listen to this. That's magnesium die cast. It is sensational. It'll carry the weight of the car so you can smash it onto things here without any dramas at all, including that steel plate at the front, 2.3mm thick. So it is literally designed to be bashed and attacked. And you're never going to forget this is a Raptor because there are Raptor badges everywhere. The changes continue around the back here. Have a look at this. Those haunches stick out beautifully, and that's that 150mm extra across the car. Four-wheel disc brakes, and beneath that wheel package, you've also got the Fox Shocks. They've ditched leaf springs and it now uses a coil sprung setup with a Watts linkage. Have a look at this. This gives you an idea of just how much extra width you're playing with. Normally this light sticks out on a normal Ranger, whereas here it's nicely recessed. Tradies, you're gonna love this section up the back. The tailgate, it's easy to open, so open that up, see how it drops down nicely? That's due to that spring in there. That means when you go to close it, it is such an easy job. Another Raptor badge because it's not Raptor enough, and then the tow hooks. These can be used as recovery hooks as well. They're on the front and rear. So this is a certified off-road car. Let's have a look at the inside at the other stuff that's changed. Before we set off for a drive, let's have a look at the interior here of the Ranger Raptor. So it'll look familiar to you because it's effectively just a Ranger in here, but there are some unique highlights, such as this screen. When you turn the car on, that comes up with Ranger Raptor. And then over here as well, you get built Ford tough. So it is a cool looking environment. The seats are unique to this car. They get Raptor insignia. They wrap around you nicely too. They're heated as well, which is good news. Dashboard has this leather material to it, and it is very well presented, but there are a lot of scratchy surfaces around here. And when you're getting to that $75,000 mark, you know, you would kind of hope for a little bit more premiumness to the interior. But Sync 3 infotainment system, this is a great unit. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, so it gives you everything you need there. All your drive modes are selected on the steering wheel and displayed here in front of the driver. You can cycle through all of those. And then you have a new gear stick, new key as well. Have a look at this. So you've got the key there, and then on the back, Raptor. So it is kind of a cool thing, but that is massively bulky. But you use that now in your pocket. So keyless entry and keyless start as well. So you no longer need to worry about that. Two cup holders. They've now moved USB here and down here. So there's only one 12-volt there now as well. Center console's pretty decent. Rear legroom hasn't changed, so it is very much the same as regular Ranger. But the Raptor steering wheel, it's unique to this car, sits beautifully in the hand, so when you are going for a fang, you'll know exactly where the car's positioned. Also, thanks to this, the 12 o'clock marker, so to get steering input, you can see where it's sitting. Paddle shifters, they sound really cool. Nice solid throw to them, so you have to give it a good grasp when you want to have a crack. Raptor down the bottom. Now, most important thing, how does this new engine work? Let's go for a spin. This has been a passion project for Ford for over 3 years now, and I tell you what, this feels like a completely different car. The Ranger itself is a really competent vehicle that we, love and enjoy, but this just takes it to a whole nother level. I'm going to put this into context for you. We're doing 110 kilometers an hour at the moment on a gravel road. Some of the corrugations, bumps, potholes on here, you wouldn't dare drive in any other dual cab. This thing uses very, very cool Fox Shocks that give it such a subtle ride over this. It means you can just hammer over bumps and it just doesn't care at all. Under the bonnet, there is a brand new engine for the Ford Ranger. It's a 2-litre turbocharged diesel, 2 turbos, 157 kilowatts of power, 500 Newton meters of torque, and it's made into a new gearbox, a 10-speed automatic gearbox that's been co-developed with GM. I can tell you, it has plenty of punch off the line, and those 2 turbos are always working together to get you up to speed. Never feels like that 10 speed is having to jump through gears to give you the torque that you're after. What surprises me though is just how linear this car feels. Like I said before, we're barreling along here. Earlier we were on bitumen, and same story there as well. You could literally tip this in, and know that you could confidently get on the throttle. It's ridiculous, this thing. It is so much fun. In addition to a stack of four-wheel drive modes, Ford has also developed a Baja mode, which is designed to set the Raptor up for some fairly epic show jumping and high-speed off-road driving. Let's talk facts and figures. 283 millimeters of ground clearance. That is mammoth. It's about 50 mil more than a standard Ranger. Although towing capacity isn't as big as a Ranger, you're only limited to 2.5 tons here. That's basically due to the suspension. Those Fox Shocks, they need to be designed to take impacts really well. So it means they're a little softer. Once you start putting a tow bar on and adding extra weight, it becomes difficult to load this car up with the 3.5 tons you'll find on a regular Ranger. So let's talk about the negatives. There are a few. The car itself is really impressive, and you know it does what it says on the box. It does jumps and all that sort of stuff, but it's $75,000. You don't get autonomous emergency braking. You don't get radar cruise control. This is tech that's now standard on Wild Track and optional on XLT. So, I mean, you're looking at a very big price tag here and missing out on some very basic features. And to put that into context, AEB is now standard on the entry-level Kia Picanto. That's a $14,000 car. One of the other negatives here is the engine. The engine itself is good at low speed and when you're doing stupid stuff like we've been doing, but get out onto the open road, really get stuck into it for an overtake, especially with some of these long road trains here, and you'll find it runs out of breath pretty quickly. We've been 3 up in this car with a bit of luggage, and look, it is slightly heavier than what your average commute's going to be, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't feel punchy enough for an engine that's meant to have 500 Newton meters of torque. Ford's chosen Darwin to launch the Ranger Raptor because this car was designed and engineered here in Australia. This was the headquarters for the T6 program, and the Aussie guys have led the charge with this car. We don't know yet whether it's going to the United States, but on first impression, we are seriously impressed with this, and it well and truly deserves that Raptor name. To read more about the new Ford Ranger Raptor, head to the Car Advice website and don't forget to subscribe.